Jay! Jay, are you okay?
You ditched me.
What?
We were a team.
I was being chased by a serial killer.
I know. I also was being chased by a serial killer. What the does that mean?
Jay, you're tall and ripped and perfectly capable of defending yourself.
These muscles were not made for violence. They're for cuddling.
Okay.
Allie and Jay have one of their many disputes after being attacked by the Heart Eyes Killer in the Valentine's Day romantic horror thriller comedy called Heart Eyes. Bryan, this movie is a movie with many tones. Was it successful in balancing those tones for you?
You know, when coming into this movie, I had seen the trailer and I did like kind of like the look and feel of this movie. It felt like it was going to be like this gritty slasher movie that takes place during Valentine's Day, and I kind of like that juxtaposition of the tones that could bring. And then we got into the film, and it was like more comedy than I had expected.
Well, if you knew the director, Josh Rubin, all Dropout subscribers do. He's an extremely funny individual with a dark sense of humor, and that is very much on display in Heart Eyes. I think if you love, and I mean love, like slasher genre is your genre. If you love the slasher genre, you're going to have fun with Heart Eyes. I think the Heart Eyes Killer does have an iconic look. I can see Todd McFarlane's toy company making a movie Maniac of the Heart Eyes Killer. But for me personally, who likes the slasher genre sometimes, I thought this was fine.
I kind of felt the same way too. I mean, really, the thing that I kind of latched onto in this movie were the leads, Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. Gooding, who I really was introduced through the last two Scream movies. And he's fine in those movies. But in this movie, I think he really does kind of take hold of.
He's more to do. He has more to do in this film, and he is good. And I think the chemistry between them is extremely strong. As does the Heart Eyes Killer. He thinks their chemistry is very strong, and he doesn't like to see that chemistry. So he goes on a kill crazy rampage, or they go on a kill crazy rampage. This film has watched Scream. And we have so few Valentine's Day themed films.
I mean,
so it's
My
kind of
Bloody
a treat.
Valentine?
And unfortunately, it's not as good as My Bloody Valentine. But different tone, right? Like My Bloody Valentine is gnarly. This is light, and it's a confection.
And that's why I thought this movie was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little more gnarly from the way that they kind of presented it in the trailer.
There's a gnarly kill at the start of this film.
Yeah, there is.
That's the thing.
Even that plays a little goofy.
Well, it does. Like, all the violence is done goofy, but this is extremely graphic. Like, the kills in this film are gory. And I appreciate that. What I didn't appreciate was the lack of extras in this film. Like, to me, what ruins a movie is when you cannot afford to populate the frame. And there are scenes in this film that are like empty, frames in this film that are empty. Until they're not, we get a drive-through sequence that has a bunch of extras. But like, that's where the extras budget went.
It goes to that moment, which really kind of plays out, which is a great scene.
It's a highlight of the movie.
It's the highlight of the movie. What's your rating for this one?
It's right on the edge, and I think if I loved the slasher genre a little bit more, I would give it a positive review with a B&B show. We like something, we give it a B+. We don't like something, we give it a B-. I ultimately didn't like it. I give it a B-.
I'm with you with that one. It's a B- for me. I think it's just tonally, it's just steered too deep into the comedy where I wanted a little bit more of a balance, and like you were saying, more of that gnarly, that gnarly kind of like flavor that we would have got from something like a My Bloody Valentine or something like that. So yeah, I think a B- for me as well. So
if you liked what you just saw,
then check us out on YouTube at PGC TV Online, and we'll see you at the movies.